Welcome to another edition of the Chicks on the Right podcast, where we talk to our BFF and sponsor of the show, Zach Abraham, the Chief Investment Officer of Bulwark Capital Management. Today, well, as we're recording this, it is February 22nd, and the world exploded because cell networks went down, people's phones were down, people were freaking out, there were websites affected. It was mayhem. Hopefully, by the time people are listening and watching this, that is over and everything is restored. But this is the kind of stuff that keeps me literally up at night.
Mm-hmm.
What should people be thinking about in terms of protecting their finances and their wealth and their money in times of emergencies like this, when a grid goes down, the internet goes down, or whatever? Go.
Yeah, so it's a great question. This will sound a little self-serving, but I don't mean it that way, because we're not the only people that do this, but these questions feed right into the reason we manage money the way we do. We live in a very different world with very different threats, and with governments doing substantially different things. And when you look at a stock market and an economy like we have today, that is built on so much artificial stuff like printed money, it will probably continue to go up. But you always have the risk of things going, right? You have the risk of reality returning, right? For lack of a better term. And the funny thing about reality is it can show up anytime. And so you need to have constant forms of protection in your portfolio to protect you. Because if you get blacked out from your portfolio for a week and you're the one trying to manage it, and you open it back up and it's down 65 or 70%, it is what it is, right? There's really no way to, and I'm not saying that that's going to happen. What I'm saying is it is a different world, and I think we got to manage the money differently. So when those things happen, I think it's a good reason to have active management, right? Somebody else actually actively managing your money. And then the other side of it is, I think that I am not a fan of hoarding cash. I am not a fan of hoarding gold.
I was going to ask that. Yeah.
If you have that fear, like I've always said, stock up canned good and ammunition. Okay, and probably cigarettes and booze, because that will do you better in an economic collapse
than cash.
People look at these things the wrong way. People will use cash to buy the things you have, right?
Yeah.
They need food, they need fuel, they need water. Okay, they don't need money. So I think having a couple thousand in the house is a good idea. Having some gold on hand in the house is a good idea. And because you said it, meaning when the grid went down in 1945, we could walk in the bank, they'd walk back in the safe, bring out a stack of cash that's ours and go, here you are, sir. Right?
Yeah.
Everything's digital now.
Yeah. So that was my question. Like, what if the grid actually goes down? Do we need to have cash on hand? Like, what do you think should happen? What should we be doing to protect ourselves from a financial standpoint? And cash is not the answer, right? Like you're saying, booze and cigarettes and things.
Well,
I mean, I get it. I totally get it. Yeah.
And it's all depending on how long these things last, right? I mean, if it's down for 2 or 3 days, obviously, we're not going to turn into the Lord of the Flies and everybody's going to be at each other's throats, right?
I will absolutely turn into Lord of the Flies.
She'll be Lord of the Flies in like 10 minutes. She'll be Lord of the Flies. But what if it turns into like 3 months? If it turns into 3 months, 6 months, I mean, you have an incredible point there. Well,
we're all going to die.
Oh my God, Mock is such an extremist. But seriously, Zach, like you have a great point, because cash is useless in those situations. When people don't give a crap about cash, they give a crap about the things. So they give a crap about food and ammo and luxury items and stuff like that they wouldn't normally have, that they want to have because they can't get it. That's such a great point.
The other scary thing about some of these threats that we're posting right now is the unique environment we're in, meaning we have experienced things in the last 4 to 5 years that no person in the history of mankind has witnessed, which is, the complete shutdown of the world's largest economy and its stock market still finishing up 16% in the same day. Meaning people are more anesthetized to risk than ever before, right? If you ask them, you need protection in your portfolio, they're like, do you see the stock market? And you're like, yes, that's why you need protection, right? I wasn't advocating for protection in 2009. Right?
Yeah.
You need protection from things falling. And it's just the way. So people, and that's one of the things that worries you, is that when you have had so many of these risks, when government has just papered over it, right? Papered over it. You condition people to turn risk off in their minds. They just turn it off. Well, like you said, the Fed can't paper over a power grid going down.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
They bail out a power grid. Right. So there are these risks, whether they play out or not. I'm not saying they are, but where this creates fragility in a system is that that's why we're saying we always believe you should have, you pull up that scenario where the grid goes down, it's going to rock the economy. And by the time you get access, you could be down 65%. This is exactly why we always have some form of insurance, not always, but in times like this, in our client's portfolio. Because if that happened to the market today, I can't tell you where we'd be, but based off things we have in our clients' portfolios, they wouldn't be down anywhere close to 65%. Right. So
and I know this is the kind of stuff that you're covering too on your show, your daily show and all of that. And where can people find that and find you and find out more?
Know Your Risk Radio podcast, not behind a paywall, bulwarkcapitalmanagement.com. We're easy to find. We're on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, all those different places. And pretty easy to find.
Yeah, perfect. Get toilet paper and ammo, people.
There you go.
Right. Have somebody manage your money, like Zach. There you go.
Thanks, Zach.
Thanks,
You're
Zach.
welcome. Thanks for having me.
Investment advisory services offered through Trek Financial LLC, an SEC registered investment advisor. Information presented is for educational purposes only. It should not be considered specific investment advice, does not take into consideration your specific situation, and does not intend to make an offer or solicitation for the sale or purchase of any securities or investment strategies. Investments involve risk and are not guaranteed, and past performance is no guarantee of future results. For specific tax advice on strategy, consult with a qualified tax professional before implementing any strategy discussed herein.